folks. This is ACOL and ACOL's Corner, sharing about Course in Miracles and continuation of A Course in Miracles called Course of Love, and the undoing of all that which we made up in separation, undoing the barriers that we built between us and God within. So God was projected outwards, and now we're looking for God in the wrong place, and we've forgotten the kingdom within. And this is the reminder where it is and how to find it, a systematic way, using the undoing of the mind, of the thought system that was made in separation, to support us in the returning to forever. Last week I said this was going to be my last podcast. Even so, I said last week is the last podcast. I decided to do one more because it dawned on me towards the very end that I want to share about the epilogue, which is just incredible. And I had, as I said, I had such a profound experience with this book, like I've never had before with anything. And it immediately gave me the whole kingdom just at the beginning, the chapter 1. And then all I could read or listen to was this epilogue called A Note on Being. So I'm going to just read you a few bits from the epilogue before I bid you farewell. And thank you for spending time together in search for, not only for search, but also finding that one heart we all are. That it's not just some kind of idea, but the actual experience of wholeness, of unity. At some point, there was this idea of Holy Spirit that helps us to refocus our mind. That's the end of the Holy Spirit, and the rest of the learning and teaching comes from the actual unity. It's not from this book, although this book helps to refocus us even deeper. And also, from my own experience, if you have done A Course in Miracles, and if you've done the workbook of A Course in Miracles, or if you're still doing it or planning to do it one day, those are deep directions on how to refocus the mind to see things in another way. However, Course of Love then gives you, once the mind is trained, it gives you this deeper explanation of what all these lessons were really about. Course in Miracles is a mind training, and so he has to design it in such a way that he prepares your mind. He can't really give you the whole thing. Yeah, he has to train you. So all the lessons are designed to kind of dip you into the light and take you gently out. Dip you in, take it gently out. But once you have this full awakening, you will see how the design of A Course in Miracles was just really to keep you focused on a course for longer periods of time, so this training can occur. There is a danger to get locked into Course in Miracles and think that this is the final destination. It's not. The very end of the Course in Miracles says this is not an end. It is just a new beginning, eh? A Course of Love takes this deeper And he gives you the punchlines to the lessons, but in a different way than one would expect. So the first book is very much like the workbook, or for those who've never done the workbook, it helps you to undo certain barriers in you, right? Now he actually said that because so many have done Course in Miracles, there is a certain miracle readiness now that this book could have been given. And it's absolutely profound what this book will reveal. And one of the most unexpected things that Jesus tells us, that, you know what, we just had to make up this whole Christmas story. We had to make up even this idea of some man somewhere 2,000 years ago who walked earth and saw the face of Christ in everyone and remembered God. But those are just examples of your journey. He was just an example life. He wasn't a man to be worshipped or man to be put up higher than anyone else. He kept saying, hey, I'm your brother. I'm not above you. Only in time. And that time really does not exist. So there you go. He always dislodges it from any kind of structure, from any kind of self-improvement or images. And he says, hey, come. I'll hold you for a second and you will find out what it's like to be me. So you can then walk the earth like I did and do what I did to help your brothers and sisters to recognize their oneness and rejoice. Because there's no competition in this. You can't know more than somebody else. If you do, you're making someone less and yourself more, or some teachers we put up and make them more and ourselves less. But this is not truth. Truth reveals our perfect oneness. And even that word perfect doesn't really do the job. It's not perfect, it's complete. There's a beautiful lesson in Course in Miracles that says, truth will correct all errors in your mind. It's not going to be this book. It's not going to be Course in Miracles or anything else. The unity or the truth, when it dawns on us, when we prepare the way enough for it to enter, that we connect to it, all the rest of the learning comes from within. You will be told all you need to know, not someone else, because we have no idea really what someone else needs, right? We only and only need to find out what is my specific makeup. How did I construct myself out of heaven that I can't find the way back? I said it a few times, like, we're so good at hell. Put on the news, go on the internet, talk to some of your friends, and it's hell incarnate. We're just brilliant at it. However, who is good and really good at not only finding heaven, but remaining in it? See, the heaven is now. It's closer than your heartbeat. It's even closer than your own breath. Right? And yet, we look out through these eyes, seeing virtually nothing, totally overlooking this impossible to describe inner radiance that takes over and takes us. So one thing with this book is that you will read it and you read one sentence and suddenly you go like, oh, and you close your eyes and this inner kingdom, the inner sanctum will be ready to take you. Here comes that surrender to let that take us. Now, the ego will rush in and go, no. We got to read this sentence. We got to finish these lessons. We got to finish this paragraph. No, we don't. It will begin to take you, and it might feel as if that could be a bit scary because you don't know where you're going. Don't worry, trust it. It will begin to gently, lovingly lead you somewhere, because this book is nothing but designed to bring about an experience which we alone cannot achieve. Like he said, you can't undo the mind with the mind. You can do mind training. Mind training will teach you to resign as your own teacher-learner and put you in the hands of something else. When you trust Jesus, and I'm talking 100%, 99.9 is still not full trust. Because in truth, it's so simple. Like I said last time, there are no levels. People think like, oh, there is all these dimensions and you have to go from one to another. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In one instant, you can be completely undone. If you don't believe it, there's no way it's going to happen. But truth is, you got to trust this inner Christ to take you fully. And the minute you do, and it's got to be 100%, it will just do its thing. And it's like happened for me. I read this book and I started reading it, and a friend of mine told me, hey, this, you'll frown at it and you will think this is nothing like Course in Miracles. And I was reading it and it was just like that. I'm going like, oh, this is nothing like the voice for God in A Course in Miracles. And I frowned and I frowned. I was like, oh, she was right. I'll frown at this. And then I had no idea what this is about or where it's going to take me. And then in the first chapter, I was like completely undone. To the point that I could not even read this book and open it, but I could go back to the epilogue. It's almost like the whole book was given to me in an experience. And then he says, well, now you can read it. Give yourself a little break. Get over yourself and realizes this is your home and that you did find what you were looking for. Yeah? Because many of us found, but they don't know what to do with it. This book will very clearly direct you on what to do with that which you found. And similar to Course in Miracles, it will do you despite you. Right? It will do you despite you. Just read it and suddenly you find yourself in a brand new place that you never even read about or heard about before. And suddenly what you thought was your heart and was love changes into something so completely different and so unlike anything we knew before. And if somebody says, yeah, but I know it, well, too late, because it's all brand new already now. And now, brand new. That's how we can never define God or never define love. Because right now, it's born again. It's born brand new. And if our mind is preoccupied with past, we are not on this new deal. We're not flying with the freshest or the latest update. I would say. We use computers, right? Like there is this virus in us that needs to be undone. So here comes an amazing workbook of A Course in Miracles that helps with that, right? Hey, you got some viruses in there. Let's just clear them out. Then comes a course of love, and it goes like, okay, you ready for a new software, right? A software that will automatically restructure the hardware. You don't have to buy new parts. They were already there. They were just waiting for this update, and suddenly it pops in. And then out of nowhere he goes, oh, imagine now what it will be like to have nothing left to learn, nothing left to become. The pressure is off. See, he's pointing to that which is already complete within yourself. It's already there. Actually, the software and the hardware is already available. We were not available to the software and the new hardware. The alchemy has occurred. So now, suddenly, in one instant, in the blink of an eye, you are the accomplished. Complete and whole and happy as for no apparent reason. The alchemy has occurred. The coal has become a diamond. You have been polished. Yeah, you're crisp, clear, transparent, and shining in the reflection of your Creator. And then he goes, imagine now being able to forget all ideas of self-improvement, right? Suddenly you are complete, you are accomplished. There is nothing to improve. Imagine how much time will be saved by this quest coming to an end. Right? So he's actually bringing us to the completion of the journey. Yeah? So we can enter into the new beginning and being shown what is our next function within the wholeness. And he goes, but what now will you do? What now will you be? Believe it or not, you will find these questions arise less and less until soon, and very soon, they'll be entirely gone, never to be asked again. And he always gives you an answer to your next question, which would be why? Because now that you are being who you are in unity and relationship, these questions will make no sense to you. Because you know what? Only ego doesn't know. You as a being know of everything. You are the knowledge. You are the wisdom, if you have to name it that way, right? Have a question? Question always comes from this tiny little separated self, who will always ask questions because it's not in unity with everything. It's virtually like you drop into this unity, you connect it to everything that is, anywhere, was, will be, all at the same time. This is an experience. This is not something like you're going to have a head full of answers that you then need to write into a book to sell it to somebody. That just does not need to be. It can, but you will be told all you need to know. Like, this happened to me 5 years ago, and then 4 years after that I was just going like, wow, it was integrating, and then suddenly there was a function to do, and then maybe this podcast, maybe I've done some other things, sharing Course in Miracles in Slovakian language, but it was like a piece of cake. It was like the best thing I couldn't have come up with that. You'll have no questions. You know exactly what to do. And there's a beautiful lesson somewhere in our Course in Miracles. It says you don't know what anything is for. So you don't really know what would make you truly happy. We think, oh, if I do this or that, then I'll be happy. Or if I get this and that, I'll be happy. Not necessarily true. How many times you achieve something and then go like, this didn't really bring me what I thought it's going to bring me. Yeah? So the better question is like, God, I have no idea what would actually make me happy. What would make me happy? And then boom. But it's only if you don't know. In this place, you'll be told all you need to know. So it's almost like your heart begins to speak to you. It's not that something else is actually talking to you. It's not that you're praying to a God that is other than you. If God created you as God is, or in its own image, right? Which is not an image, but the beingness, the relationship, and the unity. That's who we truly are. Yeah? So these questions will make no sense to you. And he goes, they already have far less power. And then he goes, can you not feel it? And here we go again. And if you have been listening to this podcast, you know that I, in a way, hammered home one big message. And that message is, feel it. You want to learn about unity without feeling? There's no way. You want to learn about truth without feeling? There's no way. You want a full experience of wholeness without feeling? There's no way. Because you are thought and a feeling. If you look up a dictionary, there's one interesting thing. So you type in the word mind, and then you're going to be surprised what you're going to get. Mind, here we go. The element of a person that enables them to be aware. What? To be aware, not to think, yeah? To be aware of the world and their experiences. There's nowhere here it says thinking so far, yeah? That's like the beginning of a statement. It's an element of a person. So it's almost like an unnameable part of ourselves, right? That enables them to be aware. Eventually, it helps you to be aware of wholeness, of God within. Aware of the world and their experiences. Now he brings the next step. And he says, to think and to feel. What? To think and to feel. Now to think has gone ahead and it overthunk itself. His mind is just basically totally confused with its contradictions and doubts, and it's not thinking correctly, basically. Because without feeling, nothing really makes sense. What? Sense. And what's a sense? Yeah? It's a something that is deeply felt. And then he goes, it's the faculty of consciousness and thought. Right? And then they give this completely silly example, completely denying what it says. It says, he goes, a lot of thoughts ran through my mind. This is not a good example, right? A lot of thoughts that I could not feel went through my mind. So here is an exercise, because unless we experience something, we are going to just think about this. Here is a brilliant exercise. Use any word and see if you can get the feeling of that word. If I say joy, can you actually feel the joy? Because first you might get an image, or you hear a sound, or you get some kind of sensation. But can you really feel it? And there is a big difference between sensations and feelings. Personally, I totally agree with Neville Goddard, that feeling is the secret. It's the secret to everything. Now, how good are we at feelings? Mostly feelings are just ideas in the mind. If you name a feeling something, like sadness, that's just an idea. It's a description of something that's somewhere down there that you're not sure why it's even there like that. So really allowing ourselves to go, okay, how about I ask these feelings to really show me who they truly are. Yet, even in this world, if I say one word, if I say even the word I, say I. So who is that? You just say I. Well, who exactly is that? Well, I. The more you say it, the more you feel it. That's the whole idea of a mantra, right? To give you this thing, and then you repeat it until you go like, oh my God, I am that. That's it. It's not a big deal. You just realize what that part is. And then with that, I am that, comes another way of seeing absolutely everything. And that can continue with every single word. Now, one thing that happens in the Course in Miracles a lot, almost in every lesson, he keeps asking you to slow down and repeat the idea for today. Repeat the lesson's title. Why? Because if you do and you feel it, and you can't feel when you're on a high speed movement. You feel when you slow down, you go a bit quiet, and you begin to listen to your feelings. Now that whole thing is an art of feeling. He calls it the art of thought, but it's the art of feeling. You become artistic, same as you become verbally articulate in the expression of complex thoughts and patterns and visions. You become equally evolved in the expression of your emotional intelligence. This is the vast subject, which I might take up in maybe next series of talks. One of my personal discoveries was that feelings don't talk. They express by being felt and being felt and being felt. The same as I'm right now talking, I am using thoughts, and words are the means with which they are shared. So that's one way. Unfortunately, if you were here with me right now, yeah, and I would drop deeply into this realm called pure feeling, yeah, I guarantee you would have an experience. Just being in the presence of this, yeah, because this vibration would resonate in your vibration. And some of you guys made some comments, and I can see or feel that you, even through my voice, could get in touch with this deep emotional intelligence. And that's just the beginning of it. Eh? First it becomes emotional intelligence, then it becomes a vibratory state, then it helps us to drop in a unity, and then you begin to radiate it to sustain it. Because if you don't give it, it will be locked up again soon. So to allow ourselves to feel a word and then express the feeling by feeling it and not necessarily talking about it. And I'm sure you have sometimes experienced this particularly when someone's really honest, yeah? Or sometimes you see it in movies, eh? This is the whole thing of movies, that they do something and they get you through grabbing you into story, and then they dump you into this experience somebody's having. They're not really saying much. They're in some state of, let's say, gratitude, or they do something, and it ignites the inner joy in you, or you begin to cry, you begin to connect, become extremely grateful. So those are the artful movies, eh? That through that modality. Another one is music. You don't see music. Even you see musicians doing all sorts of weird movement, but music, you can only hear it. You can watch people going up and down strings, but hey, that's not it. It's the sound and the vibration which is invisible. And what does that do? It reverberates certain frequencies that what? Reverberate your own heart song. It reverberates your vibration that may not have been vibrating so much, because then if the mind is preoccupied with thoughts and lost in them, yeah, this other faculty is unavailable. So the secret of feeling, the secret to all of this is the capacity to evolve again our ability to allow feelings. So I'm talking about stepping back virtually and letting the feelings go ahead. So far, mind goes ahead, leaves feelings behind. And that's why the heart cannot be ignited in a sustained awareness. You might have a momentary heart thing when you see a movie, you hear a song, or somebody tells you that they genuinely love you, and you feel it, right? But 10 minutes later, you might be going like, yeah, but what about, and you're lost from that place. So, what happened? You went into your mind and you left feelings behind. Or the feelings became so intense that you had to push them away. Can you see what I'm driving at? There is no way around this. You can hear every book in the universe, right? They're just pointing to the moon, but to land on it, you gotta give it a full expression in a feeling way. And I use this in my series of talking about I think Righteous of Will, or maybe in A Course in Miracles. But let me repeat this story because some of you might have not heard it, because you might have not been part of Barry's page. And that is the movie, which I think is brilliant and significant, and amazing imagery of the actual ignition and activation, right? And it's called The Fifth Element. Luc Besson, if I'm correctly pronouncing that, right? So what happens at the very end? There are these 4 stones. Yeah, they're supposed to save the planet. Yeah, save the evil from attacking us. Eh? These 4 elements are in us too: air, fire, earth, water. So he uses what he has, and he has to make it visual, right? So he's got these 4 stones. They had to set it up in a place. There's this deadly planet heading for the earth to destroy it. And the only thing that can stop it is this little gizmo mechanism that saves the planet. So now, what is it? It's these 4 elements, but each element has to be what? Ignited. So same in you. You have spirit, you have will, which is the feeling. So you have spirit, thought, you have feeling, which is the will, the part of the will, which is not willpower, but will, pure feeling. These 2 will ignite your heart. And all of that will ignite the 4th element, which is your body, which is your elevated self of form, or your resurrection. Resurrection is a real deal. It's not something that Jesus did. It's something that we all have absolute capacity to do in this very moment. Now, so what happens next? Then now they have these rocks there, these stones in there, and they just standing there, nothing going on. And then there's a little priest who goes like, now we're screwed. And he takes a deep breath and he blows on one of these stones, and that stone brings up light. Yeah, so you have to ignite each of these elements, right? And you ignite it by expression of that particular element. So it's like your spirit needs ignition. Yeah, so that's like the first awakening you get, like, phew, I am that. That's not the end of it. This is the beginning, right? The next element to ignite is your real feelings. A subject that's virtually, mostly dismissed. And even when you do therapy, it's still really not fully understood how deep. That's why if you want to really have a good grasp on this feeling business, there is a series of books, just like A Course in Miracles for the mind, Course of Love for the heart. There is this series of books for feelings. It takes you through this crazy journey, and my God, you really get understanding on feelings that you have no idea was even available. Now, where are we? We are igniting the will, we're igniting the feelings. So now they ignite, he blows on it, so that's air. Yeah. And there's Bruce Willis, of course, and he goes, okay, I get it. Blow on it, So they blow on it, they ignite it, and he realizes, aha, water for water, earth for earth, fire for fire, right? So they ignite all these 4 elements. And watch this. This is where it gets really profound. You have never seen this movie like that. And you can just go on YouTube and just write in 5th element and type in a final scene. And this whole thing that I'm describing is right there. Although I would recommend, as crazy as the movie is, right? Again, he grabs you into a story, and at the end gives you this pearl of an experience of the ignition of who you are into your wholeness. So evil vanishes from your existence. So here we go. So now they have them all ignited, and now they're going, now what? Right? And so now they have this woman called a supreme being. She's a supreme being. She's got this name, but earthly name, but there she is, the supreme being. And she just watched these videos of what we do on earth, how we, genocide and the wars and atomic bombs and famine and just all the stuff that we do to each other. Countries destroy country, and all of that for specialness, for getting rid of the peace. Yeah, what is war? Getting rid of peace. And she's like, I don't want to save this planet. What for? You guys are crazy. And they go, Bruce Willis, no. We have good things. She goes like, love? He says, yeah, we have love. And what is the last bit in this to ignite to this whole mechanism to stop this planet is that this man has to express, not just say it, but he is to express the love for the woman, which is the supreme being. So she's a woman, yeah, and he's a man. So they have everything ignited, same as you. You could be fully ignited. I'm gonna tell you, I have this every day with my partner, right? I ignite, she ignites, and we create something that was not before. It did not exist, right? So I ignite my elements, she ignites her elements, and now there is masculine and feminine, giving and receiving as one. And I ignite my elevated self of form, which is the fourth element, earth, right? Becomes ignited, while the spirit and the will are balancing in the heart and birthing a brand new moment. I am masculine, she is feminine, and I am now we're creating a unity. Yeah, we're creating love that has nothing to do with the love as we know it, as we knew it. You see? So, same in that movie, right? He expresses his love. He has to say it. He's already feeling it. He's already in it, but he's not getting it across to her. Finally, he says it, I love you, and then he kisses her, which is like the sort of an expression of joining, yeah, wholeheartedly. And then what happens next? She ignites herself and she blows this light out of herself that freezes the evil planet that is about to destroy Earth, which is basically saying they eliminate the evil. There's no more evil. It just can't be happening. So can you see? That's like a brilliant metaphor how we have to ignite these four elements in us. Hey? So you have this, like I said, Holy Spirit will lead you to the kind of ignition of the mind. The mind awakens itself and goes like, whoa, I've got these feelings. Next minute, you transform feelings, you change their relationships, because the mind's not in a very good relationship with feelings, right? So, now, that relationship has to change, right? And so the feelings have an awakening. That will awaken the heart. That will elevate the self of form. Now you're ignited. You can be happily forever, and I've experienced it both ways. I was very happy on my own. Can be very happy in a relationship. But also, what this does, it abolishes the need. Like you become, your neediness is kind of gone, right? Because you're so fulfilled that you don't need anything. So it does not require a relationship. And you can also establish this with your allies, your closest buddies who are awakening along with you. So you don't have, I'm not talking about one has to be in a relationship. If you are, and sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not, and it's a complete deal. It's a complete thing. Either way you take it, all right? If you need to heal relationships, then someone's going to rock up and meet you in this. But first of all, you got to find this established self in you. Mm-hmm. So that's a really beautiful metaphor, eh? And then he says, you are in relationship now only with love. And so nothing will be hard for you. Desire an old pattern to be gone, and it will be gone, right? Because you have an ability to express. And you will have all sorts of weird feelings come up from history, but you will just go like, hey, I'll just give this a full expression. You don't have to deny it anymore. Because the denial of feelings, it's what sort of makes up the world we find ourselves in, and then that gets projected outward. And then you see the misery and pain and suffering all over the planet. This little note added to the end of our mountaintop time together is only here to help you realize and accept that this will be so. Do not expect difficulties, and they will not arise. Now this is the whole subject, how we are so good at hell. I don't want this. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want the world to be like this. What you're doing, you're focusing at what you don't want. Do not expect difficulties. So you have a situation, let's say you go in a relationship, you expect difficulties, guess what? They're coming your way. Because what are you focusing on? Difficulties. Just so like, hey, I know wholeness will correct all errors in our mind. And there you go. You get constantly corrected. Epilogue, paragraph 4. You have returned to your true nature. Perhaps you will remember that within A Course of Love, which is the first book, you are once asked to imagine the ocean and a cheetah, the sun and the moon, or God himself, attempting to learn what they are. They are the same as you. All exists within you. You are the universe itself, right? Tell me a thing that does not exist in you. That's a crazy question, right? Tell me a thing that does not already exist in you. Yeah? And you will find things that you think they don't exist in you. Why? Well, because you haven't given them a full manifestation yet. So here comes an invitation to a great experiment. You go like, okay, feel pure joy and give yourself an hour of pure joy and don't let anything else creep in. It's like, you know what? It's gonna do joy. You know how you focus on negative and how things not gonna work? Well, reverse and go into like how it is gonna work. Like, let's get good at heaven. Heaven is something we are going to have to come up with. It's inherent in us, yeah? Yeah, but heaven is when so and so and so happens. No, no, no. Heaven is in you right now. You can just even say word heaven and just say, all I want is heaven. And anything less than that, when it creeps in, you go like, sorry, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing hell right now. I'm doing heaven. And notice how it begins to increase a sense of freshness and newness and sustainability and love and wholeness and joy and peace begins to come on. And you go, oh, I'm in heaven right now. It's not one day. It's now. So you sit there. So I'm doing heaven. And so now these four elements begin to ignite, yeah? Your masculine and feminine within begins to provide and birth this new element in your life, which is heaven. Course in Miracles says, heaven is a decision I must make. So here we're sitting and we're like, okay, let's do heaven. And give yourself, I don't know, 2 minutes. Give yourself 4 minutes. Give yourself and give it a go for a week. So like, okay, I'm just gonna do myself 5 minutes of heaven. But you gotta create it. So you focus on heaven, everything's coming your way as heaven. Focus on what you don't want, everything comes your way as what you don't want. And you get more and more and more and more of what you don't want. Rather than giving a manifestation what you truly desire. And you often ask people, what do you want in life? It's like, I don't know. Yeah, why? Well, because you just haven't sat down and made a decision how you want life to be. You will become a victim of a world we see. But what we don't see, that we are the one who makes up this world by denying the happy thoughts in us. Our heritage and inheritance is happy thought. Right? So have a happy thought. Give me a happy thought. Highlight of your week. What was good? And don't look for some amazing things. Anything simple, you know. Something lovely happened in a shop, or, you know, it was a nice day, or you had a moment with your kid, or you have a moment with your partner, or you have a beautiful moment with your dog, or anything. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, it could be, you know, maybe you had a cigarette and it was just like the best little puff you ever had. It's like, oh man, I had this little puff, and I was like, oh God, it's like I could experience eternity. It doesn't matter what it is, it's that it is. Now, the key element is to translate that experience into a feeling. You got to drop it into the mother so she can birth it for you. Without her, we are living unmanifested life. We have not created ourselves. So there you take that tiny little idea and you put it into a feeling, and rather than talking, you go, how did that make you feel? And what is the sound that experience would ignite in you? And you just go, oh God, it was so beautiful, right? I just go, oh. And then stay in that feeling. Just stay in it. Step back. And let that feeling birth this experience. And watch what occurs. Now, as soon as you start experiencing this heavenly expression, right, there comes a creepy thought, you know. In the Course in Miracles, they call it an obstacle to peace. And number one obstacle to peace is a desire to get rid of it. So you're sitting in this bliss, and then it comes some thought that's gonna want to take you away from there. That's Herod coming. He wants to kill the Christ, to kill the experience of heaven, right? And you just go like, wrong address, I'm not interested in you, right? And you save, you know, you protect, you take this child into a safe place, yeah, like Mary did with Jesus. So that's just the same idea. You got to see that all of those, the whole Christmas story is just a metaphor of your awakening, not Jesus's, not anyone else, not your guru. Forget them. They don't give you anything good, really. Because you put them up there as holy, and you make yourself unconsciously or without realizing, you make yourself less holy. You go, oh, they've got it and I don't. That's just not true. You have everything in you. You have the stones, you have the 4 elements, you have the ignition capacity. You got your own masculine, your own feminine, and you can birth this whole thing within yourself. At the end of the Course of Love, Jesus says, okay, I ask you first to resign as your own teacher and accept me. And at the end of the book he goes, and now I resign as your teacher. Goodbye. You know, he goes, you go, what? No, Jesus, I need you. No, you don't. You have your heart, and I am exactly that. I had to give it to you as a story because you could not handle your own experience. And like I say, you know, like when you swim in the ocean, you dive in, the deeper you go, the more pressure there is, right? So imagine you're surrounded by this ocean of love, and it's going to be a little bit of pressure, so you get used to it. And to alleviate yourself from being too pressured, you share your love. More you give it, more you have it in a more refined way. So you want to refine this love, but the act of giving it away. But you got to feel it. Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, he goes, I feel the love of God within me now. He doesn't say, I think the love of God within me now. You know, people say to you, I love you, and you can't feel it. It's like, yeah, it sounds good. Now what? But sometimes people feel this love and they just go, God, I love you. And you just go, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Yeah? And then we go, we're not used to it. So we blush and we become shy instead of going, oh my God, I can feel it. Let's join in this. Let's rejoice in this. Let's offer this equally to everyone. So you don't make up this crazy special relationship in which you two drown together. We've drowned enough. It's time to resurrect. Okay? All these instructions are nothing but instructions to resurrection. It's like one of my teachers used to say, from erection to resurrection, you know? Just from this low life where, you know, we're obsessed with addictions like sex and drugs and rock and roll, we basically are thinking, which is one of the biggest addictions now in the world, is thinking addiction. from which all the addiction stems. And I think in addiction is only because we denied the feelings that could ground our mind away from this insane thinking. Yeah? So feeling is the secret, because the feeling is that, like, you could be trying to steal your mind and you meditate and you steal your mind and you get out of meditation. What happens? Poof, all the thoughts creep in and take over. You only have thoughts in your head because, again, we have this addiction to not feel. So that you're feeling self, and you will find the holy grail of existence in you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and you gotta ignite it. So like he says in it, all exist within you. You are the universe itself. There is nothing in you that you don't know. But there is a lot in you that might have not yet been expressed. Express. Get it out. Get to the core of it and give it a full, like, make it fully visible. Make it tangible. Make it so feelable that the other persons, the other people around you will begin to feel what you feel. And in that sense, magnify it and increase it. So when you truly, like, let's say with your partner and you're present with them, or with your friend, you're truly present. If you're a man, you become present. If you're present, the woman, a friend or partner will open. When they open, they will emanate a light that will make you more present. The more present you are, the more will ignite your partner's openness. The more openness there is, they ooze this softness and this lush quality of feeling that men often can't get by themselves, because they are more of a consciousness. They are more the thought part of creation. She is more the feeling. She's the mother of everything. She's the birther, right? Whatever you put into her, she will birth. You know, give her a hard time, she'll birth you hell. Like this guy said, you know, give woman a shopping, go shopping, give her some food, and she will make you a feast. You know, give her a house, and she will make you a home. She will come in and she will put these little pieces in here and little colorful things over there, and she'll clean it and she'll just make a home out of it, right? Give woman love, or just one, expression of love, and she will birth you a whole universe. She will birth you full God experience, right? But give woman shits, and guess what? You're swimming in it. So the feminine has this amazing quality to birth. She is the birther of the universe. Now, what you have to look into is too that you in yourself have the masculine and the feminine. Now, even if you're a woman and your mind is giving unpleasant thoughts to your will, she will birth it for you, and you will find yourself birthing hell for yourself, and same for the man. So most of all, this whole transformation has to begin within. Once established within, it can be extended outwards. That's why I love the Righteous Soul, because it brings this element of the mother into the equation, because you can be awake in your mind and the singularity, and you can wipe your butt with it, let me tell you. Because when you really truly understand polarity and how it works, You'll actually experience oneness that will fulfill you to a point where the search for God is over. Yet, you're entering to a new era of being, the golden age, where you are the one. You know? People say, oh, you're the one, he is the one, or she is the one. No, no, no. You are the one. You got to marry yourself first. You got to marry your thought with your feeling until it becomes one, becomes the two magnets, electromagnetic, clicks together, creates this exquisite love and full wholeness and an embodiment. You have to first close the gap, and instead of having nothing in your heart, birth love in it, a brand new thing. And it's, I guarantee you, is not the love of this world. Jesus says that my kingdom is not of this world. It's not here. There's no example really who can demonstrate it to you, because it has to be experienced in you. You know, there can be reflections, there can be little experiences, but for you to sustain it, you gotta have your feeling ignited. If that's not ignited, you will search it in somebody else. You will want people to change, to provide you with what's lacking in you, right? So you are returned to your natural self, and you begin to move more fully back into your life. You'll realize what the differences between this natural self and your former self lie. And you will let the old go, and you will let the new fulfill you. And then you will realize that you know what to do. And you will realize that there is no will be, you know, that you are, and that you will respond as easily to your surroundings as does a cheetah or a mountain to his. Expect heaven on earth, you were told. This is what it is. There'll be no doubt, no indecision. Your path will be so clear to you. It will be as if it is the only path in the world, and you will not wonder why you didn't see it all along. Expect this, and it will be, and so be it. There is no becoming. As you are no longer becoming, there will be no becoming projected from you onto the world. There'll be no projections at all. And this is why you will see so clearly. You will see what is. You will create what will be through the extension of love. That's all. And so be it. So again, I want to thank you for your attention. If you look back, there is somewhere a folder where there's all my talks called Cole's Corner. You could type in Cole's Corner and then type in Write You So Will or Course in Miracles or Course of Love, and you'll get to my folder. I also want to say that this is just my experience. I'm not saying this is how it is. I think what I've noticed with the Course in Miracles, that no matter how much I've done it, how many times I did it over and over, and no matter how many awakenings I've undergone through the transformation, what always happened, that Course just met me in this new place and fed me the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So it's very individual. I only really shared my particular experience. I also love these 3 books as a trilogy. For me, that's an ultimate trilogy, particularly involving Right Use of Will as a guide to deeper feeling, deeper experience, and really understanding how feelings originated, which is a fascinating story. And it's not for everyone. Like it says in the Right Use of Will, if this book is for you, you will know it from the introduction. And particularly if you enter book 2, 3, and 4, if you manage that far, it's 8 of them. That's a huge work which I've been involved with for 30 years, I guess, roughly. And, Course in Miracles, and now for the last 5-6 years, Course of Love. So again, I just want to thank you. I want to wish you all the best, and also thank you for your beautiful messages and your connections, and some of you been leaving me messages for quite some time. So I feel like I know you a little bit, and we went through some questions even in a previous podcast. So again, thank you again. And of course, gratitude to my brother from another mother who puts together all my talks and sends them out. So, thanks, Barry. Thank you.